Hi, today we're gonna take a look on the Ableton Live as on the tool for jamming with yourself as on a musical instrument. Actually, it's the whole orchestra, but we have to bring our musical ideas live, and usually we start it with just some rhythm pattern, melody or harmony or something like this. So please don't you take this digital audio workstation as a soulless piece of software. Actually, it's a tool for you to act like a whole band, or if you want to play live, for sure it's many possibilities to use Ableton as a live performance instrument. So let's jump in. The most fundamental section in 99% compositions, especially in electronic dance music, is drums. So here we are at the very left in this menu column, drums. Feel free to listen to the pre-made kits of this drum rack. Just don't forget to enable this cue button. When it's enabled, you could just click something and pre-listen it. When this button is inactive, you won't hear nothing. So okay, we need to start with something. The most common in any kinds of techno is just 909 kits. For example, let's grab just this simple and beautiful core kit of 909 and instantly let's make some pattern here. If you want to hear what the sounds you're gonna put on the piano roll, enable cue button here as well. So basically we need a bass drum or kick drum, snare, and open and closed heads. So Ctrl-Command-B, enabling the drawing mode. We have a bass drum, we have a snare drum. Let's make it on the open hi-hats. Alrighty, so we already have a piece of music, just a simple 4-on-the-floor drum pattern. I think we're gonna choose the tempo of the track. So, on the very left top corner, let's choose, for example, 150. And now try to imagine you are jamming with other musicians and every musician keeping and maintaining own part. Somebody playing drums, somebody playing bass, somebody playing leads, somebody singing, somebody playing some piano, and so on. So let's go from the very bottom of our frequency range, from some basses until the very top. At the sub bass we already have our kick drum, so what else? We need some bass. Just feel free to use this field and find out some bass. In instruments, I like this analog bass. By the way, I think you spotted out, there are some small red rectangles over here. It's actually marks of my favorites. You could easily add anything from the Ableton menus to your favorites by simply clicking on the item and pressing 1, 2, or 3 button. And it goes to our favorites: orange, yellow, green, blue, and so on. You even could add more collections of favorites, but believe me, the art is simplicity. So try to make things clear. Let's get back to our instruments and analog bass. I'm gonna drop it to the MIDI track. Let's make some simple bassline. But actually when we play music live, we're not sticking to the one bar loop. Actually, we want to express ourselves and make some phrasing. So let's make it 8 bars. We're gonna to choose key and scale. For now, we're working in C major, which is default key. And you could see on the piano roll, only the white buttons are highlighted. Let's switch it to something more interesting, for example, to D Phrygian. So now on piano roll, highlighted notes inside of this key in scale. What does it mean? Now we have a quick handlers or tooltips where to place our notes for them to work together fine. It doesn't mean we cannot place our notes somewhere outside of highlighted strokes. Easily done. Why not? No boundaries for creativity. But for the very beginning, let's better to stick to the scale. So let's make some bass pattern as a bass player was with us. Holding Shift and down arrow or up arrow, we could jump through the octaves. Let it be here. Just some random pattern. Now, when we have 2 bars pattern, let's switch off our drawing mode, select all the notes, and holding Ctrl or Command and pressing DK, duplicating. So let's copy one more time. And let's make some changes in second half of our musical phrase. For example, let's fly around the octaves, move some notes to different positions, and now we have already a lot of range. Just press this fold, and now you see only the notes that are engaged in this composition. Grab it from the very top. Let's add more repetitions and variations. So upper octave, unfold them, and let's go with these notes bit upper, like this, and like this. So, and let's take a listen. Just hit this button and you will hear all the clips in the row. Already some pretty nice and old school techno, old school trance, or maybe even tech house, something like this. But okay, now all of you musicians playing in the mix, but they need some loudness. Go to your main channel, actually the master channel, and add some limiter here. From the favorites, in my case, or from the audio effects, the same limiter. Here's the limiter, and we're dropping it to the master channel. Make input gain just louder. Now we need some harmony. For harmony, it could work keys, some piano, or some pads. As we're doing some techno stuff, let's choose pads. Pad in instruments. Pad and some percussion. Why not to use them? Anyway, we will need to use a percussion. But now, you see, when I'm trying to drop this instrument to the track, trying to drop the MIDI instrument to the audio track. If I try to drop to MIDI track, everything is fine. To audio, it's prohibited. Let's add another one MIDI track. Command or Control Shift T, and let's drop it. So this new instrument can just easily copy the bass pattern. So holding Control on Windows or Alt on Mac and dragging the already existing clip to the new place, we just copying it, duplicating. Let's make it quieter. And here goes the trick of mixing. For sure, I think you want to hear just this instrument as itself in solo mode. But it's better for mixing to hear all the instruments all together, and just for some special reasons that will be covered in next tutorial, switch to the solo mode. For now, I hear that it's better to move all the notes one octave upper. Otherwise, it works in the same frequency range that already covered by our bass. So we need to cover another frequency range, which is exactly the mid and upper frequencies. So, and now we can adjust our instrument. For example, it's too many drums. Okay, let's make it quieter. Drum density 1/8 will be ok. I hear the percussion still gives a little bit mess with other instruments. The simplest way to do the cleanliness of our mix is to use a sidechain compression. So find out the compressor in audio effects, compressor. Click on this triangle and here to sidechain mode. Audio from drum rack, and here in the sub field, we need to choose bass drum post effects. Make a threshold a bit lower. And now we have them together. What's next? Some lead. As we're making techno music, we're mostly working with MIDI instruments. For sure, we can use as audio clips some percussion or some melodies or some frequencies and so on. But the very most tool is MIDI. What's next? Let's find out some lead. In instruments, let's take a listen. For example, this badass lead. Again, we will need a new MIDI track. So, clicking on something, then Control Command Shift T, new MIDI track. And now we have already a whole orchestra of 4 different persons. One person of drum, one of bass, one of pad and percussion, and one of lead. Now we have to make our lead to work together with our bass. First thing first, let's just copy the bass line to our lead section, make it upper, something like this, and let's delete something from this pattern. Control or Command B and just remove some notes. It could be random, it could be not random. Anyways, we have a lot of helpers for us to make it more precise, but now we just giving it a quick idea on what to do next. And let's take a listen. So, and that's it. Please try to limit yourself by using just 4 or 5 different timbres and no more. Because the limitation is nice ground for creativity and for the final mix sound clear, not muddy, and exactly in the way you want to make it.